Nana CEO's blind daughter refused to speak until a single dad whispered what no one else did. The silence was louder than any scream could ever be. For 3 years, 7 months, and 16 days, Marcus Chen had counted every moment his daughter hadn't spoken. He'd memorized the exact date when her voice disappeared from their lives. The same day, the accident stole her sight and her mother's heartbeat. The same day his world shattered into 1,000 pieces that he'd been desperately trying to reassemble ever since. But how do you fix what's broken when the most important piece refuses to make a sound? Emma was 9 years old now, and her silence had become a fortress that no therapist, no specialist, no amount of money could breach, and Marcus had tried everything money could buy. As the CEO of Chen Enterprises, one of the largest tech companies on the West Coast, he had resources most people could only dream of. The best child psychologists in California, specialized programs in Switzerland, experimental treatments that cost more than most people's houses. None of it mattered. Emma remained locked inside herself, her small hand gripping her white cane, her sightless eyes staring at a world she'd chosen to stop communicating with. The doctors called it selective mutism triggered by trauma. Marcus called it his personal hell, watching his daughter slip further away each day while he stood powerless, drowning in guilt and grief. It was a Tuesday morning in late October when everything changed. Marcus was running late as usual. A board meeting had gone longer than expected, and he'd promised Emma he'd pick her up from the specialized school himself today. She had a new teacher for her mobility training, and Marcus wanted to be there to show her he was present, even if she never acknowledged it. He pulled up to the Sunshine Academy for the Blind just as the session was ending. Through the window he could see Emma standing rigid in the gymnasium, her posture defensive. A man knelt beside her, not touching her, just talking. Marcus couldn't hear the words, but he noticed something he hadn't seen in years. Emma's head was tilted slightly, the way it used to when she was listening intently to something that captured her attention. The man stood as Marcus entered. He was probably in his early 30s, wearing worn jeans and a faded blue shirt, with kind eyes that crinkled at the corners. His name tag read, Daniel Torres, Mobility Specialist. Mr. Chen, Daniel extended his hand. Your daughter did great today. Marcus shook his hand, distracted, watching Emma's face for any reaction. There was none. Thank you. She's been struggling with the new route. She's not struggling, Daniel said gently. She's just being careful. There's a difference. Something about the way he said it made Marcus pause. Most people spoke about Emma in hushed, pitying tones or with forced cheerfulness. Daniel spoke about her like she was just a person, not broken, not tragic, just Emma. Over the next few weeks, Marcus found himself arriving early to Emma's sessions, watching from a distance. Daniel had a way with her that was different from everyone else. He didn't hover or coddle. He treated her like she was capable, giving her space to fail and figure things out. And slowly, impossibly, Emma seemed to soften around him. One afternoon, Marcus arrived to find the gymnasium empty, except for Daniel, who was sitting cross-legged on the floor, waiting. Emma's in the office with Mrs. Patterson, Daniel explained. I was hoping to catch you, actually. Marcus felt his defenses rise automatically. Here it comes, he thought. The resignation. Everyone eventually gave up on Emma, decided she was too difficult, too damaged. I want to try something different with Emma, Daniel said. If you're open to it. What kind of different? Daniel hesitated, choosing his words carefully. I have a daughter, Lily. She's 7. And she lost her mother 2 years ago, cancer. He paused, and Marcus saw the flash of pain in his eyes. Lily struggled for a long time. Still does some days. But something that helped her was connecting with other kids who understood loss. Not in a therapy way, just playing together, being kids who got it. Marcus frowned. You want Emma to meet your daughter? I think they could help each other, Daniel said simply. No pressure, no expectations. Just 2 kids who know what it's like to have a piece of their world go dark. Every instinct Marcus had as a father and a CEO screamed at him to say no. This crossed professional boundaries. It was irregular. There were liability issues. But then he thought about Emma's tilted head, that small sign of engagement he'd seen. and found himself saying, "Okay, let's try it." The following Saturday, Daniel brought Lily to the park near Marcus's home. Marcus watched anxiously as Emma stood frozen on the grass, her hand tight on his. Lily approached with the careful confidence of a child, who'd learned not to expect too much from the world. "Hi," Lily said. "My daddy says you can't see, but I bet you can hear really good. Can you hear the birds? There's a robin right above us. It sounds happy." Emma didn't respond, but her grip on Marcus's hand loosened slightly. "I can't see my mom anymore either," Lily continued, her voice matter-of-fact. "But not because my eyes don't work, because she's in heaven. Daddy says that's like being far away but still loving someone. Is your mom far away too?" Marcus's breath caught. In 3 years, no one had spoken to Emma about her mother with such simple honesty. Everyone tiptoed around the subject, afraid of triggering her trauma. But Lily just laid it out there, one loss next to another, equal and acknowledged. "My daddy cries sometimes," Lily said, sitting down in the grass. "At night when he thinks I'm sleeping. But I hear him." "Do you hear your daddy cry?" Marcus felt his throat tighten. He'd been so careful, so controlled around Emma, trying to be strong for her. But children heard everything, didn't they? They felt everything. "It's okay, though," Lily said. "Crying means you loved someone a lot. That's what Miss Rachel at my school says. It means love is still there, even when the person isn't." Emma's hand slipped from Marcus's. She sank down into the grass next to Lily, and Marcus held his breath. The afternoon passed in a strange, gentle rhythm. Lily chattered about everything and nothing, her favorite ice cream flavor, the stray cat that lived near her apartment, how she'd helped her dad make pancakes that morning and they turned out lumpy but still tasted good. She asked Emma questions but didn't seem bothered when there were no answers. She just filled the silence with her own light. Daniel stood beside Marcus watching. "Lily doesn't have many friends," he said quietly. "Other kids don't always know what to do with her sadness, but she's learned to carry it and still find joy. I thought maybe Emma needed to see that it's possible." "How do you do it?" Marcus asked. "How do you keep going when everything feels impossible?" Daniel looked at his daughter, and his expression was tender and tired and fierce all at once. "You do it for them, and some days they do it for you. It's not about being strong all the time. It's about being honest, about letting them see that grief is part of love, not the opposite of it." The visits became a regular thing. Every Saturday, the 4 of them, Marcus, Emma, Daniel, and Lily, sometimes they went to the park. Sometimes they got ice cream. Sometimes they just sat together in comfortable quiet while Lily told stories and Emma listened with that tilted head that Marcus had come to treasure. Marcus found himself looking forward to these Saturdays in a way he hadn't anticipated, not just for Emma but for himself. Daniel understood things that Marcus's colleagues and friends couldn't. They spoke the same language of loss and single fatherhood, of loving someone so much that their pain became your pain. "I had everything," Marcus admitted one day while the girls played nearby. "Money, success, a beautiful family. And I took it all for granted. I was always at work, always chasing the next deal. I thought I had time." His voice cracked. "And then there was no more time and I can't fix it. I can't fix her. She doesn't need to be fixed," Daniel said. "She needs to be loved and seen and given space to heal in her own time. You're doing that, Marcus. You're showing up. That matters. Is it enough? Is it ever?" Daniel smiled sadly. "But it's what we have, so we make it enough." It was a cold December afternoon, almost Christmas, when the miracle happened. They were at Marcus's house decorating a tree. Marcus had bought a special one with textured ornaments. Emma could feel velvet ribbons, wooden shapes, smooth glass balls. Lily was describing each ornament as she hung it, painting pictures with her words. "This one's a silver bell, and it's so shiny I can see my whole face in it, all squished and funny. And this one's a star that feels prickly but in a nice way, like if sunshine could touch you." Emma reached for an ornament, her fingers tracing its shape. It was a small angel, porcelain and delicate. She'd had one just like it before the accident. Her mother had let her hang it every year. Marcus watched his daughter's face, saw the memory flickering across it like candlelight. And then, so quietly he almost missed it, Emma made a sound. A small, choked noise that might have been a sob or a word or something in between. Daniel was beside her in an instant, not grabbing her, just present. "It's okay," he whispered. "Whatever you're feeling is okay. You can let it out, sweetheart. You're safe." And that's when Marcus heard it. The words that would echo in his heart for the rest of his life. Daniel wasn't looking at him, wasn't performing or trying to prove anything. He was simply kneeling beside a broken little girl, and he whispered, "Your mama loved you so much, and she would want you to be happy again, not to forget her, but to live, to laugh and talk and feel everything, all the big feelings. Can you do that? Can you live big enough for both of you?" Emma's face crumpled, and then, like a dam breaking after years of pressure, she spoke. "Mama," she whispered, then louder, "Mama, mama, mama!" The word turned into a sob, and the sob into a wail, and Marcus was on his knees beside her, gathering her into his arms as she cried for the first time since the accident. She cried, and the sound was the most beautiful thing Marcus had ever heard, because it meant she was feeling again, breaking open instead of staying frozen. Lily wrapped her small arms around both of them, and Daniel's hand was steady on Marcus's shoulder, anchoring him as his own tears fell. When the storm finally passed, Emma lifted her face, wet and blotchy and more alive than she'd been in years. "Daddy?" she whispered. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here. I miss her so much." "Me too, God, me too. But I can't remember her voice anymore. I can't remember what she sounded like." Fresh tears spilled over. Marcus pulled her closer. "Then we'll help you remember. We'll watch videos, listen to recordings. We'll talk about her every day if you want. We'll keep her alive in here." He touched her chest, right over her heart. "Together." Emma nodded against him. Then she turned her head, seeking, "Lily!" "I'm here." Lily's voice was bright with wonder. "Thank you," Emma said, "for being my friend, for understanding." "We're sad together," Lily said simply. "That makes us special friends." Emma's small laugh was watery but real. "Yeah, special friends." She reached out again, finding Daniel. "Mr. Torres?" "I'm here too, Emma."
"How did you know?"
she asked. "How did you know what to say?" Daniel was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was thick with emotion. "Because somebody once said it to Lily, and it saved us both. A kind stranger who told her that love doesn't end, it just changes shape. And that the people we love want us to be happy, even when they can't be here to see it. I've been waiting for the right moment to share that with you. I guess today was the day." Marcus looked at this man, this single dad working 2 jobs to make ends meet, this person who'd given his daughter something money couldn't buy, and felt a profound gratitude that went beyond words. "Thank you," Marcus said. "Thank you for seeing her, for seeing us." Daniel met his eyes, and there was understanding there, and kinship, and something else Marcus was afraid to name. "You'd have done the same for Lily, some of us. We're just trying to help each other through. That's all any of this is." The weeks that followed were not magically easy. Emma didn't wake up completely healed, her trauma erased. But she talked now, halting at first, then more freely. She laughed. She asked questions. She let Marcus in, and Marcus learned to be present, not just physically, but emotionally. He cut back his hours, delegated more, redefined what success meant. It wasn't about the next acquisition or quarterly earnings. It was about being there when Emma woke from a nightmare, about hearing her excitement over a new Braille book, about witnessing all the small, sacred moments that made up a life. Daniel and Lily became part of their family in the way people do when crisis forges. Bonds deeper than blood. Sunday dinners at Marcus's house. Movie nights with audio description. Holidays spent together, blending their broken pieces into something new and whole. One evening, months later, as Marcus tucked Emma into bed, she said, "Daddy, do you think Mama would like Mr. Torres and Lily?" Marcus smoothed her hair, considering. "I think she'd love them, just like we do." "Good," Emma smiled in the darkness. "Because Lily says we're going to be sisters someday. She had a dream about it." Marcus's heart stuttered. "Did she now?" "Uh-huh. She says her daddy smiles different when he talks about you. Happy smiles, not sad ones, out of the mouths of babes." Marcus kissed Emma's forehead. "What do you think about that?" "I think," Emma said carefully, that maybe love doesn't run out. Maybe there's always enough for the people who matter. Marcus had to clear his throat before he could respond. Yes, sweetheart, I think you're exactly right. Later, sitting on the porch with Daniel after the girls were asleep, Marcus said, Lily thinks we're going to be family. Daniel laughed softly. Lily's 7 and very sure about everything. I apologize for her confidence. Don't. Marcus turned to face him. Don't apologize. She might be on to something. The silence that followed was full of possibility, of two men who'd lost everything learning to hope again. Daniel's hand found Marcus's in the darkness, their fingers intertwining like a promise. I never thought I'd feel this again, Daniel admitted. After Lisa died, I thought that part of me died too. I know exactly what you mean. But here's the thing about breaking, Daniel said. Sometimes when you put the pieces back together, there's room for something new in between the cracks, something you didn't know you needed. Marcus thought about his daughter speaking again, laughing again, living again. He thought about this man who'd whispered the right words at the right time, who'd seen past Emma's silence to the girl underneath, who'd reminded Marcus that healing wasn't about forgetting, it was about making space for both grief and joy. You saved us, Marcus said. You know that, right? You and Lily, you saved us. We saved each other, Daniel corrected. That's what people do when they're brave enough to let each other in. Inside the house, they could hear Lily and Emma giggling, having snuck out of bed to whisper secrets the way children do. The sound was pure and bright, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there was always light if you knew where to look. Sometimes that light came from the most unexpected places. Not from grand gestures or expensive solutions, but from quiet moments of human connection. From someone who knew your pain and sat with you in it anyway. From a single dad who'd whispered the truth everyone else was too afraid to speak. That it was okay to hurt and okay to heal. And okay to live fully even when you'd lost so much. Emma had stopped speaking because the world had become too much. Too painful, too impossible to navigate. But Daniel hadn't tried to pull her out of her darkness. He'd simply sat beside her in it and showed her that darkness wasn't forever. That even blind, even grieving, even broken, you could find your way back to the light. One word at a time, one day at a time, one whispered truth at a time. And sometimes, if you were very lucky, you found people who would walk beside you the whole way home.